of the blue car that's in the picture with me up front of it.
Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna try to get this piece cleaned up. I got brand new inner fenders for my car. Don't feel like buying one for this, so I took a chunk of my inner fender from my old car and we're just gonna repurpose it over here. Quite the rust that we found underneath here. I already got the pieces fabbed up to wrap around. We're just gonna splice that piece in, run it down, clean it all up, and then we'll finish tacking in this piece, whether it be today or sometime this week. And once that's all done, I already have this piece cut. I just gotta cut it out right here. It's really thin, it's pinholed through. So we'll get that cut up, and then we will begin our infamous getting through the floors. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and start. I hope you enjoy the video. Like always, just click the like and subscribe if you want to follow along. If you want some tips, some tricks, figure it out along as you go, or just watch the progress of the build. It'd be greatly appreciated by both of us. We're just using scrap metal, scrap pieces from the cars, cutting up old quarters, cutting chunks of the metal off, bending it up. As you can see, just got a new air compressor yesterday, but we got metal all over the place that we're cutting up and repurposing into the car. So we're gonna go ahead and begin. Swiss cheese. All right. Got the corners cleaned up. Yeah, it's got 36 grit on there. It's a little rough. Just letting the disc do its thing. Nothing pretty, ain't got to be perfect, because when I drop this up in here, where you'll see all the holes lined up at previously, based off the channel I watch. If you find yourself needing to press in on something to get it to sit tight, channel I watched is to use the backside of the old hammer, give her a little press, get her nice and up in here. Don't really have a lot of room to cut in here. I have to lay this first, as I got to do plug welds through here. So I'll go through and I'll cut off what I need to put my patch on here. I have to cut the patch rather than just cleaning this up. I have to take it out to here so I can come up inside of here with tooling and be able to get up in here and clean up the inside of that radius after I'm done welding it. So we'll be recording all that, trying to get through it all. It may not look pretty, but you know what? This car will run down the road as long as it runs straight down the road. It has a little bit of power, it's fun to drive. I don't think the average Joe Schmo is going to see that I left this radius a little built up. We'll do what we can though to get it cleaned up. So I'm going to try to mock this up in here the rest of the way and proceed from there. I'm going to be flush right here, and then I'm just doing a lap. I'm actually going to be doing a butt. However, tack it up on here rather than having to cut it to piece. I'll just come through here with my cutoff wheel, come right up in here, cut that piece out that needs to come out behind there. So I'll hack it so it comes right on down, clean it all up. It'd be good to press it all out of there. And then it'll be nice and flush in here. I'll get a nice good finish right here where it wraps up. But that keeps me right. There's this radius right. I got a radius right up in here. This radius, I want to try to keep this right here just under that radius so I can keep that cleaned up so it looks factory. But all this will get pressed down and flushed into here. But I definitely want to get that gap cleaned up. As you can see, I'm going to have to do my cut down here. Probably end up leaving a little bit of that wraps in because I'm not peeling all of this off. There's a little bit of pitting. We'll use a little Pour 15 to get in there and clean that up. The other side wasn't bad, but this right here is going to thin out. That's why I overlapped it a little bit. The channel I watch said always go longer. So yeah, that's a little bit longer, but once I get this cleaned up, I'll just take my cutoff wheel and I'll slide right on from here, come straight on down, make it look factory up in here, and it looks like I just broke the weld off up here. Yeah, just wasn't that good. It'll give me some room to clean it up, it's all good. It's not an exact science, don't have a degree in this, figuring it out as I go. Yes, I've done mechanics before, welding wise, a little bit, but nothing like this. So, we'll get, we're gonna figure it out. This has been my dream my entire life. So, but as you can see right here, this is where I'll be at. So that's why I'm gonna cut back to here so I can get my tools up in here, get my hands up in here to be able to clean that up and make it look decent. As you can see, cutting out the old plug welds. You can see the shit that's already shot in here. But once we get that cleaned up, it should look pretty good. The rest of it will get tidied up once the time comes, and once I spray some of this off, get a little bit of that cleaned up, the rust should be pretty manageable. I changed up how I wanted that one to be. Cleaned it out a little bit. Let me press this up under here, and then we're going to tack it. I'm trying to stay a little bit farther out of that radius than I originally anticipated. So like last time, there goes this 45. This one's gonna be a little bit different. And when your gap gets a little bigger than you need, buy a piece of copper for that. see where when I press down on here, you'll see the piece of copper up in here. It ain't perfect, and this may not work. So I'll probably start right here and just kind of work my way across. Probably hammer and dolly that in once I get this other shit cut out. Then we'll take and clean this up after we get this all cleaned up. Clean up all that right here. And we're gonna build up on the inside, or build up on this side. I'm trying to do it extra thick so I can come around here and round that back out to try to make it look factory. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this corner up, make sure I got good penetration coming through, and that way I could just take and round it off. It's okay if it's a little bit off. The fender covers this up, so you won't even see this, but you will see the inside. That's why I care so much about getting that cleaned up. You'll see it in the engine bay. So I'll probably start right here. I got a piece of copper, as you can see right there. See that copper? I'll make sure this is flush right here, tack this, and then probably hammer and dolly that over a little bit. Get that copper set back in there. I do also have a 1-inch copper bar that I can use to press, kind of like the hammer butt end. I can also use it to plug in holes rather than having to drag that around. I can just take that tool, use it. It's sitting inside. Still gotta get it out here. Kind of use my house for storage these days. So, but we will see what we can do. That's why I needed to get some bigger holes in here, huh? I don't think it's perfect yet, but we'll have to get this other patch cut out. Finish getting this opened up, and then come in here, lay the other piece on there to where we want it at. I don't know how far back I got to take it, but this front side is about cleaned up to where I can slap the fender on. Now it's just going to be cleaning up it in here for the engine bay wise to what I find acceptable for a patch. I mean, I could have just bent one up and done it on the flats, but I didn't want to take out more factory metal than I needed to, and they don't make a reproduction one of these core supports, so it is what it is. There's a little more rust down here. It looks like it was, we'll get this cleaned up, find out if it was on this panel at all, but it doesn't quite look like this panel is bad. I mean, I could just send a drill bit through it and see if she's gonna bubble out or not. If she's all rotted out, I'll find out with the drill bit real quick. What? Rust that just came off there.
Yeah.
That's what Dad, it was rotted in between here and the skin, so had I not taken all that off, now what Dad may do is make a new tab that comes up here, cut it, and then just put a new tab in here. That down, cut it out, make myself a new little tiny tab, bring it up and just tack weld it across here, and then just put a rosette weld right here and just send it right onto that panel, clamp it down, and that way it gives this the strength that it needs. Because this right here is just asking to rot again, especially when I put that panel that comes down, loops up and over, and then comes across, and will get welded onto here. I may just get a whole new piece, bend it, bend this angle, bring it all the way up to here, cut it, and just put a few angles in there. Metal's really thin, it's not too hard to bend. Little 4x4 action, you can get some stuff to go. I do have a piece of metal that I could probably finagle in there. And just do it all in one solid piece. So I get some nice welds along the bottom, tack this in, and I just got to run a bead here to here, and then these are all plugs. So I really only have to weld constant from right there across and down. So we're gonna have to go find another piece of metal, aka I got a quarter over there, got a quarter over there. I got an entire hood that I can hack up. All the pieces of metal that you see cut out are Mopar metal. They're all gonna go back into a Mopar. We got no problem doing it. Some of you may or may not agree with that choice, but at the end of the day, this one's a budget build. Gotta go pick up some metal for the other one. So if I got any scraps left over, I'll use them. And I think this is gonna wrap it up for this episode. She said she was gonna help Dad. And let's see where she drew us. Your name. This is always. Thanks. Appreciate it. Hopefully that helps somebody out. Just know you can do it. Find an old car, find something that makes you happy, whether it be a car, truck, bikes, old tractors, anything. Just set your mind to it. Make it happen.